From being a face hugger to a chest burster, the Xenomorph goes through several stages in its life cycle and assumes numerous forms. In its prime, the Xenomorph can take the form of warriors or drones, among other things, but these subtypes are some of the finer characteristics of Xenomorphs that often go unnoticed. For instance, did you know that the warrior Xenomorph is a savage fighter who can kill its opponents even in death? This is just one of the many features of this ferocious creature, and today we shall look into every key characteristic of the warrior Xenomorph and tell you everything about them.
Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin.
Who are the warrior Xenomorphs? The warrior Xenomorphs are one of the primary types of mature Xenomorphs, and as the name suggests, they are the first ones to engage in assault in the face of threat. After the chest burster tears its way out of the host's body, it takes some time to mature into an adult Xenomorph, and often takes the form of a warrior. Of course, fully matured Xenomorphs can also assume the role of a soldier or a drone, but the warrior is considered to be the primary type or the standard when it comes to adult Xenomorphs. Warriors are savage creatures who pose a threat to their opponents even in death, and their bodies are filled with a lethal acid that can kill anyone upon contact. Warrior Xenomorphs are considered to be the main defendants of the alien hive, and their main responsibilities include protecting their queen and taking care of her eggs. They appear in large numbers across the alien franchise and typically blend in with their surroundings and remain dormant until they sense a threat. Sometimes they venture out to find host bodies to breed a new generation of Xenomorphs, and the warriors were first seen on LV-426, where a man was impregnated by the Xenomorphs and then rushed back to his colony for medical attention. While the settlers tried to save him, the warriors made their way to the colony and used their bodies as hosts to create a new hive. Soon enough, a group of Marines, including Ellen Ripley, made their way to the colony, but the warriors killed most of them as well. What about their appearance? Warrior Xenomorphs typically stand tall at a height of about 8 feet, along with an additional 14 to 16 feet long tail. They have deep black skin, which allows them to blend in with their surroundings and remain undetected until they choose to make their presence known. Among other things, the warrior Xenomorph can be differentiated due to its long, segmented tail, secondary pair of jaws, and ridged head. Its head carapace is notably stronger than other Xenomorphs, making it easy for them to knock their opponents down by ramming their heads into them. The warrior's tail underwent some changes across their appearances, and they had a short barbed tail in the original films, while more recent releases showcased their elongated tails with larger blades. These Xenomorphs can use their tails to propel themselves in water and even take giant leaps. Surprisingly, warrior Xenomorphs are agile creatures capable of leaping their way through vents, walls, and other complex surfaces. In some appearances, warriors have evolved into different forms, wherein they have a large blade on the top and bottom of their tail, along with large blades in their elbows. Warrior Xenomorphs also have acid blood flowing through their body, which could be quite lethal to anybody who comes into contact with. Opponents have to be extremely careful while facing the warriors, as one wrong attack could cause this lethal acid to spurt out and endanger their well-being. Some weapons, such as napalm weaponry and high-powered energy weapons, can cause this acid to turn into a toxic vapor that is lethal to human beings. There are countless instances of humans dying as a result of being in close proximity to a dying warrior, and the best way to deal with a warrior would be to incinerate it to death. In this way, their bodies would immediately turn into charred mass without leaving any traces of acid behind. Smarter than others. Warrior Xenomorphs' intelligence. Warrior Xenomorphs are considered to be intelligent beings owing to the fact that they emerge from a human host at some point. In this process, they acquire several human traits, including our intellect, which aids them in strategizing and adapting to dire situations. Warriors carefully plan out their next moves and move in stealth, and they would do things like cutting the power and sneaking up on their victims when they least expect it, or figuring out weaknesses in their defense before lunging at them. Warrior Xenomorphs were known for displaying high levels of aggression towards any non-Xenomorph, and they apparently even had varying levels of intelligence. For instance, the Grid alien seemed to be more intelligent than the rest of the warriors, and he once defeated 2 predators single-handedly and led the warriors in their attempt to free their queen. Warrior Xenomorphs were also quite aware of the fact that their acid blood was lethal to their opponents, and they used this to their advantage to bring down the predators or other enemies, even when they were brutally injured or dying themselves. Key distinctions: Xenomorph drones versus warriors. To begin with, the smooth-headed Xenomorph drones and the ridged-headed warriors have never appeared in the same Alien film, which suggests that they play different roles in their inner workings of the hive. Moreover, it has been established that the ridges on the warrior cast are a symbol of aging and maturity as opposed to the smooth-headed drones. By this logic, we can deduce that the Xenomorph drones undergo metamorphosis and evolve into warriors over a period of time. In this process, they gain enhanced strength and develop a harder carapace and tough ridges on their head. The warriors are notably larger and stronger than drones and can also be distinguished based on their color and temperament. While warriors have the same inner jaws, bladed tails, and sharp claws as drones, they could sometimes enhance these features and develop a deadlier, longer tail. While there is sufficient evidence to distinguish between drones and warriors, we don't know the exact amount of time needed for a chest burster to evolve into a drone and then subsequently mature into a warrior, and this period could range from any number of minutes to endless hours. Types of warrior xenomorphs. The warrior xenomorphs can be broadly classified into three categories, solely based on their appearances. To begin with, a standard warrior xenomorph stands about 8 feet tall and has a ridged dorsal skull dome. Admittedly, there is no standard for warriors as such, and there is a lot of variation in terms of their appearance, origins, and designs across the franchise. However, most warriors share some similarities, such as their molted brown or black-blue skin color, and are inspired by James Cameron's original design for the Aliens. The second one, also known as the Smooth Dome Warrior, gets its name due to the smooth black domes on their heads. They were first seen in AVP, where Grid and other human-spawned warriors were shown to have smooth heads instead of ridged appearances. These warriors later appeared in the 2010 Aliens vs. Predator game with a smooth black-headed skin known as the Warrior Dome. Alternatively, the ridged dome warrior had ridges all over its body, giving it a rugged appearance. These ridges were more exaggerated for dramatic effect, and this subtype also had a metallic look, much like the aliens from the first AVP film. The ridged dome warrior is also available as a skin in Aliens vs. Predator video game, and they have also been a part of AVPR. Marvel's verdict. To wrap things up, the warriors were undoubtedly the most dangerous types of xenomorphs, and they had managed to stir up quite some trouble even as secondary antagonists in most alien media. Their brute strength and intelligence made them a true force of nature, and while they sound like fascinating creatures, we would certainly not want to cross paths with them or even wish their existence upon our worst enemies.
If you enjoyed this video, click on the like button and comment below about which other movie reviews you would want to watch. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel.